Hello dear students, Jai Swaminarayan. So students, this is our part 3 of chapter number 1, reproduction in organism. So in previous video we have started our sexual reproduction. It is 1.2 from the textbook, and then we have talked about events in the sexual reproduction. Okay, we have seen the overview of the events in sexual reproduction is pre-fertilization event, fertilization and post fertilization. Now we will discuss in detail. So now events in sexual reproduction, and we will start this in detail. So after the attainment of maturity, all sexually reproducing organisms exhibit the events and processes that have remarkable fundamental similarities. We have already talked about this thing, remarkable fundamental similarities between the all organisms present. Okay, and they in specially they will sexually reproducing organisms. Even though the structure associated with sexual reproduction are indeed very different, but here the structure are different in different organism. Obviously the events of sexual reproduction, though elaborate and complex, follow a regular sequence. Now we will see this sequence. Now sexual reproduction is characterized by the fusion, or we can say fertilization, of male and female gametes, and finally the formation of zygote and embryogenesis take place. So this is the overview of sexual events, okay, present in sexual reproduction. Now our first is pre-fertilization event. I have already discussed. Pre mean before the fertilization. So these are the events. Now this include all the events of sexual reproduction prior to the fusion of gametes. Okay, here gametes are not made, because prior to the fusion of gametes, this is called as pre-fertilization. Now the two main pre-fertilization events are gametogenesis and gamete transfer. So please guys, make note and underline these two things. The main pre-fertilization events are gametogenesis and gamete transfer. Write it down in your notes. Now what is the gametogenesis? Okay, so gametogenesis is the formation of gametes, male gamete and female gamete. Now as you are already aware, gametogenesis refers to the process of formation of two types of gametes, male and female. Already I have said. Now gametes are the haploid cells. Okay, you have to know, you should know what is haploid and diploid, because you have learned already in our class 11. That's why I am asking. So what is haploid cells? Think about it. In some algae, the two gametes are so similar in appearance that it is not possible to categorize them into male and female, because in some algae there are both gametes are similar, so similar. You can see in this picture, both the gametes are, we can say, same in appearance. That's why. So we can't categorize them what is male and what is female gamete. Okay, so here confusion. They are hence called as homogametes. So these two same gametes is called as homogametes. Homo meaning one, homo meaning single. So homogametes, and we can also called as isogamete. Iso meaning same, homo meaning same. So both are the same gametes. That's why called as homogametes and isogametes. This is the case of algae, and this is the here name isogametes of Cladophora and alga. Okay, Cladophora particularly. Now these are the definitions of haploid and diploid. Now guys, haploid describes a cell that contains a single set of chromosomes. Now you should know what is chromosome. Okay, the set of our inheritance material, we can say DNA or RNA. Okay, so DNA makes the chromosome. Now a cell that contains a single set, only single set, that's why called as haploid. The number of chromosome in a single set is represented as n. Okay, small letter n. Here you can say haploid meaning small letter n. Now what is diploid? Opposite. Diploid describe a cell that contain two copies of each chromosome. Two copies, it meaning duplicate, Xerox copy of each chromosome. in haploid there is only one copy, in diploid there are two copies. The total numbers of chromosomes in diploid cells is described as 2n, here haploid n and here diploid in 2n, which is twice the number of chromosomes in haploid cell, it is n. Okay, so n, double of n is 2n, this is double in diploid cells. Okay, now however, in majority of sexually reproducing organisms, the gamete produced are two morphologically distinct types. Also, we can say heterogametes, two morphologically distinct. Morphologically means external behavior, we can say. So, it can be different, and that's why called as heterogametes. In such organism, the male gamete is called as anthrazoid. Keep the here underline, anthrazoid or sperm, we can say, and the female gamete is called as egg or ovum. Okay, so male is anthrazoid or sperm and female is egg or ovum. So here you can see the heterogametes of fucus and alga. The here is the female gamete and here is the male gamete. Male gamete is small, and here these are the humans gametes. Okay, female gamete is called as egg and this is our sperm, okay, in humans. So this is male and this is female, so both are different, that's why called as heterogametes. Okay, so don't get confused with this. Now sexuality in organism, our another important topic is sexuality in the organism. Now sexual reproduction in organisms generally involves the fusion of gametes from two different individuals. We have to fuse the two different individuals for the sexual reproduction, but this is not always true, because plants may have both male and female reproductive structure in the same plant, so that plant is called as bisexual. Okay, so here bisexual meaning the plant having both male and female reproductive structure in that same plant. In several fungi and plants, terms such as homothelic and monoecious are used to denote the bisexual condition. So this bisexual condition is called as homothelic and monoecious condition, and opposite to that, heterothelic and dioecious are the terms used to describe the unisexual condition. Okay, so keep in mind that unisexual condition meaning heterothelic and dioecious, okay, and bisexual condition meaning monoecious and homothelic. So these terms are very useful. Now this is the example here is given. Female is different and male is different, both are different organism. Okay, so reproductive organs, reproductive structure are different. Okay, female and male are both different, so that's why called as dioecious plant. Okay, dioecious, this is the example of bryophyta plant. Now this is the example of monoecious plant. We can say here chara is a algae. Okay, because both the gamete present in one organism, we can say here female sex organ and male sex organ is present in same plant. Okay, so that's why called as monoecious plant, and we can say also bisexual. And here the another example is bisexual flower, sweet potato, in the sweet potato. So both stamen and carpel present in same flower, that's why called as bisexual and monoecious, we can say. Okay, so please don't get confused between dioecious and monoecious. Okay, in dioecious there is two different, male and female both are different, but in the monoecious both are present in only one organism. Okay, now in flowering plants, the unisexual male flower is staminate. Okay, in the flowering plants, in the case of flowering plants, the unisexual male flower is called as staminate, and also it bears the stamens. Okay, stamens, we can say this is the male organ, while the female is pistillate or bearing the pistils. Now in some flowering plants, both the male and female flower may be present on the same individual. Okay, we have already discussed monoecious or on a separate individual called as dioecious. Now some examples of monoecious plants are cucurbits and coconuts, and of the dioecious plants are papaya and date palm. So these are the example. Keep in mind that monoecious plants and dioecious plants. So here are the some example. Now name the type of gametes that are formed in staminate and pistillate flowers. Okay, think about that because you have already learned in class 11th. Okay, so please name the type of gametes that are formed in staminate and pistillate flowers. Okay, so this is your please make notes of this question and try to answer this. Now what about animals? Okay, we have just talked about plants, but what about animals? Okay, so are individuals of all species either male or female, unisexual, or are species which possess both the reproductive organs bisexual? Okay, so what is the condition? What will be the condition? You have to think about this. Are individuals of all species either male or female, or both possess both reproductive? So what will happen? So you probably can make a list of several unisexual animal species. Okay, you have to make the list. Now here is example is earthworm, sponge, tapeworm and leech. These are animals, typical example of bisexual animals, meaning that they possess both male and female reproductive organ in the same body. So are the hermaphrodites, we can say. So these are the example: earthworm, sponge, tapeworm and leech. Okay, they possess both male and female in their particular body, single body. Now cockroach is an example of unisexual species. Okay, now we are going to see the figure. Okay, so diversity of sexuality in organisms. So here A is bisexual animal is earthworms. Okay, so this is earthworm, ovary and testes sac with the testes. So both male and female gametes are only in one animal. So that's why this is called as bisexual. But here in the cockroach, male and female are both different testes in one organism and ovary is another organism. So that's why called as unisexual. Okay, so here the example of cockroach and here the example of earthworm. So keep in mind very important thing, this is okay. Now cell division during the gamete formation, this is another our topic. Cell division meaning cell has to divide. Okay, cell division is very important to reproduction, to growth. Okay, so gametes in all the heterogametic species are of two types, namely male and female. Okay, as we know, male and female are both two different gametes. Now gametes are haploid, though the parent plant body from which they arise may be either haploid or diploid. Okay, in the case of haploid gamete, so parent body can be either haploid or diploid. A haploid parent produce the gamete by mitotic division. Okay, so there are two types of cell division, mitosis and meiosis. Now a haploid parent produce gamete by the mitotic cell division. Okay, keep in mind this thing. Now does this mean that meiosis never occurs in organisms that are haploid? So you have to think about it and carefully examine the flow charts of life cycle of algae that you have studied in class 11 chapter number 3 to get a suitable answer. Okay, so I am just giving hint here from chapter 3 from the class 11 is there are two different life cycle of plants. Okay, so please remember that and please study that also. So you will get the answer for this. Meiosis never occurs in organisms that are haploid. Okay, so you have to think and try to answer. Now several organisms belonging to the Monera, fungi, algae and bryophytes have the haploid plant body. Here keep in mind this thing. But in the organism belonging to pteridophytes, gymnosperms and angiosperms and most of the animals including human also, the parent body is diploid. So this is the difference, okay, between Monera, fungi, algae, bryophytes and pteridophytes, gymnosperm and angiosperm. Okay, so this is the difference. Okay, as we know there are 5 kingdom classification is there: Monera, fungi, okay, plant, animal. So that's why here is the difference of haploid and diploid. it is obvious that meiosis, the reduction division we can say, has to occur if a diploid body has to produce haploid gametes. Okay, so this is the condition in meiosis is very important. Okay, in the reduction, this is meiosis is also called as reduction division. Reduction means to decrease the numbers of cells, has to occur if a diploid body has to produce the haploid gametes. So in that condition, meiosis is very important. Now in diploid organisms, specialized cells called as meiocytes, okay, and gamete mother cell we can say, they undergo the meiosis. At the end of meiosis, only one set of chromosome get incorporated into the each gamete. So this is very important, end of meiosis. So our final product of meiosis is only the one set of chromosome get incorporated into each gamete. Okay, every gamete has, each gamete has the one set of chromosome in the final product of meiosis. Now carefully study the table 1.1 and fill in the diploid and haploid chromosome number of organism. So this is your another homework. So please fill in the blank spaces. Now you will study that chromosome number in meiocytes, diploid 2n we can say, and gametes haploid and n number of chromosome. So here are the some example. For example, in human beings there are 2n chromosome number is 46. In humans, in us, there are 46 number of chromosomes are there, but in the gamete, it meaning n number of chromosome are half than this 2n. So 46 and half of 46 is 23. So like that, in housefly the answer will be the 6, half of 12 is 6. Okay, now in rat, so n number is 21. So what will be the 2n number? 21 and 21 you have to multiply. Okay, so 21 and 21 is 42. So here your answer will be 42. Like that, all answers you have to describe. Okay, now in our next video we will see another pre-fertilization event is gamete transfer, and then we will study about fertilization. Okay, the fertilization. Okay guys, so please keep making notes. Thank you and Jai Swaminarayan.